Hi guys, Carl here, one of the many hosts of Dice Pens and Sheets podcast or DPS. We are promoting tabletop games here in Bacolod City, and DPS podcast is our way to spread the love for TTRPGs. So please like and subscribe to support our channel. Thank you. Okay, so hey guys, what's up?
Hi.
We're here again. It's your weekly TTRPG podcast, Dice Pens and Sheets. We're here at Alonce. It's our gaming home base, our gaming cafe. Well, you can find Alonce across Sineco, City Appliances building. So today, we have two guests. We're very fortunate to have them because it's like it's very hard for their schedules. Yeah, we're just fortunate to have these guests. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about like, well, I know these guys. They DM a lot. And in our past episode, we talk about DMs, rules. Yeah, so we wanted these guys to be our guests because we wanted the audience or you guys, like a sneak peek on how the DM runs his session or her session. So yeah, on my left, can you
Yeah,
introduce
sure.
yourself?
Hi, I'm Miguel Montilla. I've been playing D&D for about 4 years. This is my fourth year. I started DMing after my first year, and yeah, it's been great. Like, it's the best hobby I've ever gotten into.
Yeah. So how about you, sir?
Okay, MJ is short for Michael Joseph. Okay, I've been playing since high school, I guess. I don't know, just do the math. Way back in high school, and I started DMing during my college days because my friends don't know how to play it, and I'm the only one who knows how to play it. Then I've been forced to DM, and then after that, I've been DMing up
So
until now.
there's that word again, force.
Yeah, but
Force.
I'm loving it though. After a few sessions and seeing the reactions of the players during after the game, and they love it, and then I started to love the part of being the DM. But I miss being played though.
Yeah. Um, is it how was your first sessions?
First session of
Yeah,
DMing.
DMing.
At first,
If you can remember your
at first they don't know much of the rules. Back then in college, we don't have much of the resources.
yeah.
We used to photocopy the player's handbook and all, and we're borrowing it from our friends. So they do not know much about the rules, and some of the rules I just make it up,
Yeah,
and
so-
they don't know it.
So I think that's like if the players don't know the rules, you're like safe. That's the advantage.
It's okay, yeah. But after the time that they able to get the player's handbook, and they say, "Man, this is about that." What the hell?
You can't read everything.
Yeah.
Then after that, I said, "Yeah, you enjoyed it, right?" And they say, "Yeah, all right,
Yeah.
screw it."
Yeah.
But sometimes like if you're gonna homebrew or like you're gonna make up some rules, it's like sometimes it's unfair for the players, I guess.
I don't know. You know.
Well, I think like what as a DM, your focus would be the fun of the players, right? So when you're making those rules on the fly, it's not so much to be unfair to the players, but to be like, I want the game to continue, and I don't want to stop our momentum. So yeah, sometimes you have to make the call just so that we like, let's do this now, and then if we find out the rule is different next session, we can always change it up.
That's right. Yeah, I also have it on my session. If ever there's a question and we're on that moment, especially on the climax part of the game,
Yeah.
and then we're trying to figure out how do we rule this out, then I make up a rule, and then after the game session, we look it up, and then we said, oh, it's incorrect. So yeah, the next session we're gonna correct this by doing that stuff.
So you said like you're making some rules in just a fly, like you just make it up just to keep the flow
Yeah.
going.
That's right.
Is there like, have you experienced like you made up a rule that it became permanent to your game, like the player, like you didn't plan to make that rule, but the player like made it make.
They actually accept the home. Most of the homebrew campaign have such rules, especially it was laid out first by the DM, and then I'm gonna say, this is how we're gonna play it. This is how we run healing and all recovering and stuff, and then players sometimes just go with it, and it will have, especially if it goes more on the reality part, more realistic, then they often just go with it and have fun with it after.
Yeah, as long as I guess the players and DM have that understanding, that's
You
what's
need
important.
halfway.
Yeah.
That's right. There are some players who are bookish.
Oh yeah.
You cannot. It's
So-
always having a party. That,
So how do you handle that, guys? Like if
I
you
grab a
play-
book and then open over and said, "I'm not joking."
So how do you guys handle that?
Bookish.
Because there's really
A lot.
a lot of different players. There's some good, there's some bad. You can't deny it.
Yeah.
So how do you handle it?
Well, actually, the format I play is usually more on it's Adventure League, so we can't really homebrew that many rules. So when a player corrects me, I sometimes say, okay, like it's either I accept the rule, or if we're in the middle of something and I don't really have that much time to think, I just say, okay, let's just do it now like this, and then next session I'll read through the rules and we can get over it. But yeah, I actually am okay with players actually giving me their description of what the rules are.
Yeah.
Especially with spells, like there's so many spells, it's hard to memorize them all. So sometimes it's like you should know your spells. Yeah.
It's one way as well for the DM to learn rules. Usually, I started back in second edition, and then we transitioned to third during college, and I don't have much of a time reading the rules. And then one of our friends there is the bookish guy. Shout out to Eric. Hey, no problem. And, Eric is the one who reads all the rules, the combat, and all. And I think even members, 95% of the players handled back in college.
Wow.
So we started up playing, and then I just DM again, because the same thing. No one wants to DM, so they get used to it. So I started DMing for third edition, and then I have him on my side, and then I just ask, how do you rule this one? And then he informs, then we absorb it.
Yeah.
It's just one way of learning as well, is from your players.
Yeah.
Especially if the player have a character which is spellcasters and all. It's one way to learn as well. Especially those players that are min-maxer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the one that they could learn a lot from them.
So, we're talking about the rules and the players. Do you have any like favorite homebrew rule that you made or like implement?
Well, so I don't get to play that many home rules, but one of my favorite rules is the crit rule, where it's like you do your max die and you just roll. And I think that's an awesome crit. That's an awesome rule because you really feel the critical and like when you roll like say double ones after.
Right, it
You
sucks.
know? But that one is like, ooh, I crit, and you know you feel it even if you roll a one. It's like max damage in one die.
And then you just have to roll for the other one. Yep.
Yeah.
Me, I think the thing that I could remember most of my homebrew is the character building for rolling for their stats. So I usually homebrewed it, and back in third edition, it's a point buy system, and then plus a fee, and that's it. We stuck on it, and almost for the entire years in college, that's the thing that marked with them. So every time that we play, they ask how do you rule this one? Is there an additional feat on this or free feat? And then that I think that's the one that marked from the homebrew that I played with.
Well, I DM like the Lost Mines, so it's
A number.
new campaign. There's I think I have a lot of homebrew rules. I mean, the one is that's the crit. The one die is max.
Yeah.
And then I'm using that right now.
And also
It's an
that
amazing
mine-
rule.
Yeah, and mine is like we all know it's very hard to get like the nat 20.
Yes.
So I made like a homebrew rule. If you get like 3 nat 20 in your combat, you have like like a limit break or like
Okay.
do something special about it because like you have just to feel you're lucky because getting like that 20
Yeah.
It's a 5%.
So rare.
yeah
It's a
like,
5%.
you can get like in one combat if you get like 3 nat 20s it's like I mean you're very lucky and
We all
so
say
far-
if you got that one, Timora is smiling at you.
Yeah.
I forgot it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I wanted to make my players like feel they have something special in them. That's why in the first list, that's why they became an adventurer.
Yeah.
So far they haven't like.
Oh yeah.
I think the one player only got two nat 20s
Does it have to be in a row, or is it like
No.
throughout the whole combat?
through the whole.
Okay.
Because I mean, like it's very hard. I mean, like
Yeah.
3 in a row.
I know, like that one, you really feel lucky. Yeah.
3 in a row. Natural 1. Yeah,
That happens.
that happens. If you know the rules for 5th edition, we're in luck, so you get to use it only once on during combat. So what happened is my friend Ryan play a rogue, and he has this luck feat. So he rolled natural 1, and he said, "Up, I'm gonna use my luck." Right. He rolled again, natural 1. So the rule says you get to only use your luck once on combat. And he said, "Mike, can I roll for her? I'm gonna use." So I go, "What the heck, go!" And then he rolled. He didn't get another 1. So see, I said if I didn't let that go, we'll never see the 3 ones in a row. So so he ended up the what we call the ineffective rogue. That's the moniker that he has after the game. So
Yeah. So, anyways, how did you guys really start D&D? Did you heard it somewhere? Did you like stumble upon some kind of like a book or?
So I have a friend. I met her maybe around 10 years ago, and then she told me she played D&D, and I had heard of D&D before that, but I'd never had a chance to really get to play. And then I said, "Yeah, let's play it sometime." And then I was super busy. I never got a chance to give it a try. And then like 4 years ago, I contacted her. I'm like, "Hey, you still play D&D?" And she's like, "Yeah, let me organize a game." And I got to play one game, and after that I was hooked. Like, it was great.
me, I started back in in high school, and we have this weird friend. I mean, weird classmate. The class is already started around 3 weeks already, so he's a bit late in coming in, and he has this special treatment from the teachers, saying that he still be on our class even if it's already.
Is he like a transferee? Like
No, it's the same
it's just
same
like-
school. It's just that he late enrolled due to family problems and stuff.
Okay.
All right, and then as you all know, back in OHS, you have one book, and then two of you will share it.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to get your book for reference.
If you have like your own book, then you're lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
So what we do is that we borrowed, and then I asked him, "Hey, you have some books on your bag," and I said, "Whoa, special treatment." And then, "Hey, I'm gonna borrow one here," and then he said, "No, that's not for a class or what." And then I grab it, and then it's just a photocopy of a knight riding a war horse, and I said, "What the?" And then I open it. It's a lot of words, a lot of words. And then he has this die set there, and the good thing about it is that it is all handmade.
Okay. Wow.
It was handmade using clay dough, and that's the one we used back then because we don't have the resources. So there's a rule every time that we play, is that you need to roll it, don't throw it, because if you're gonna throw it, it will deform. So I was curious about it, and then I asked him, what is this? What sorcery is this? You know, and then he said it's a role playing game, and then he teaches me, and then from there I get hooked.
That's cool.
Because and the funny thing about back in high school is that there's still this stigma about playing D&D, the satanic panic. But during that time, the 90s, it's already just faded, and it's mostly being heard on the US and the Europe, but it's not much heard about around Asia. So, but there are some teachers back then in our high school
Still
that
concerned about.
Yep, and they're playing, and then they're from a religious part of the school that there conducts always for prayer meeting and all. And then he said, "What is that they're playing?" And he said, "It's Dungeons and Dragons." And he said, "We heard something about it." And then one of the players there is her mom is the teacher, and every time that we play, her mom always is there and then saying, "Yes to, puli na."
So, it's not new for us. Like there's a stigma
Yep.
about the D&D because, like, as you said, like way back before there's
Was it
like
the 80s, I guess, 90s,
Yeah.
or 70s, I
80s,
guess?
I think 80s.
Oh, 80s, yeah, that's the part we're in.
If you guys don't know, before D&D became like popular, before it became like before it became like a game, a tabletop, it went through a lot. Like
Yeah.
it became into like a satanic game, like you said, satanic panic. There's a lot of history in D&D.
Yeah.
So, because in my opinion, I think for me, D&D is like the mother of
All RPG.
Yeah.
RPG. Because like, and also like from the video games,
Yeah.
Yep.
like they always have this, their
basis.
core, their basis like the Dungeons and Dragons because everything fly, everything there. They got the idea.
Yeah.
everything.
It started all with D&D, and then the rest,
Then,
Yeah.
the rest is history. Yeah.
well, so I know you guys have been playing like a lot of DMing, Dungeon Masters. So how have you guys became like a player? How long has it been like?
Me, I've been a player all throughout the high school years. I started playing fourth year high school, and then the whole year of fourth year, I guess it's 1 year plus another year after it, so around 2 years. And then after that, I transitioned as DM because, as I mentioned, I was forced to be a DM. So that's it.
I'm actually 50-50, so I like both sides of the screen. I'm fortunate enough to have other DMs that I've played under. If you want, you should play under me sometime so that you get to be a player. I'd love to have a skilled player in my table. You know, like those are always fun to have. But yeah, like I enjoy both sides of the screen. I actually started DMing because like in my group there's about 8 of us, and back then like only 2 of us didn't DM yet. So I told my friend like, okay, I'm gonna DM this week. You have to DM next week. She's like, what? I'm like, yes. Let's commit to it. Let's do it. And then you know we both got to do it. I my first module that I ran was 1,000 Tiny Deaths, which in 5th edition links to Forge and Fury from the Yawning Portal.
Okay.
I think it's chapter 2 from Yawning Portal. And yeah, so I did 1,000 Tiny Deaths and went to Forge and Fury. Had fun doing it, and then the next week my friend also ran. Well, she ran the next week, but I also continued the Forge of Fury game because it took about 3 weeks to complete that. But yeah, so after that we all got into DMing. And,
Sorry.
Yes.
Did you play every day or how many times a week?
Back then I was playing maybe 3 times a week. I had like different gaming groups, but that particular group I always met on Saturdays. Yeah.
Once only.
Yeah.
So you said like before you became a DM, well, before we became a DM, you should play. You should become a player. So how much personality or how much yourself do you put into your character? Because like sometimes we discuss when we create characters, we subconsciously
Created your alter ego towards your character.
and then like, well, in my experience, I was like denial because it's not me.
Yeah.
It's a different, like I wanted to like a backstory and everything. But eventually, as like I create this character, I suddenly like noticed that shit.
Yeah.
Your reflection of me, man.
Oh no. I have some really dumb characters.
Well, me, back then, since we don't have much of a role-playing, what do you call this, role-playing games back then, it's more like a video games back then. So we tend to create a character which is ourselves. Yeah, because if we're gonna make a character right now, after for a long time of playing, then you can get to the part wherein you can stay away from creating a character which reflects you, and then try to create a character that's way beyond your imagination.
Yeah.
And I read one weird character that I didn't know if it's in D&D Beyond or so. His character is a bread, and is a spellcaster, and he's casting Mage Hand always, and it's lifting the bread.
Oh, nice.
So what the hell? So if you gone through a lot of playing, then you get to the part where you're staying or you're pulling away yourself and creating a character. But on the first instance, though, that's mostly the typical creation that you will do.
I pulled a lot of myself for my first character, but then as you make more characters and play more games, definitely you start having your joke characters that are like I have a gnome that says he's an elf because he's like a Christmas elf. So he's like, and then every time I make a joke with that gnome, I always try to make it sound like he's so happy to work for Santa Claus, who's actually a really horrible slave driver. It's like, oh, Santa Claus locks me up after I do all my work. It's so fun. I don't know if I put that much in myself in that character.
I mean, I really admire those guys. Like I said, if one of my friends put like deep backstory, I really
like a 13 pages backstory.
I mean, even for me, it's hard to make like half of the band paper, like half, because like when you don't know how this this backstory will end up. Sometimes you have this really good backstory, but then eventually it's like a spider web. It's like there's a lot of shit, I do this. Why should I do this? What's the reason like that?
Yeah.
So when you're DM, do you require like backstories?
I prefer it. It definitely gives you something that they can emotionally bond their character to.
Correct.
Now they're like when you create a character, there's flaws, bonds, personality traits. I feel like those are less effective than a well-written backstory.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So if a player can give that, that would be great. If not, I can talk to my player out and help them build their character.
So if like there's a really what is it good solid backstory, do you like still refer to the bonds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was running a game for one of my friends online just last week. So I was focusing on her character. She sent me this file on Google, and I was giving her like characters that she was meeting in that session. And then I saw, like, because I was also looking at her sheet, I noticed that she was editing it. I'm like, oh, you're editing your sheet. And she's like, oh, yeah, I am. And she's like, oh, you're looking at my sheet too. I'm like, yeah, of course, I do this all the time.
Yeah, but back in college, I usually before we started our game or our campaign, we tend to back in college we call it background. What's the background of your character? And then just this fifth ed, it says backstory, and I said, well, it sounds familiar with the one we were using back then in third ed. I used to ask them to go ahead and give me the background of their character, and then we have one friend that's always, when you ask for a background, if you just let them, they'll give you 13 pages of yep. And sorry, Paul, it's you. Yeah, if you just let them, they'll go ahead and give you this very long backstory. And I always said, okay, go ahead and create your backstory. And just a reminder though, save something for me to work on towards your character. All right, give me some room to work on towards your character, and that's it. But
so, you talk about backstories of your characters, of your players. Can you like teach me like how do you incorporate the backstory of your players into the story? Do you, let's say you have five players. Do you all together merge all the background, or like for example for this week, or like for how many sessions, for like for example 3 sessions, we're gonna focus on one story of the player, and then so that I think it's really, it amazes me like if the DM knows how to weave the story of his own story to the players, backstory.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you guys do it? Do you have like...
I mean, it depends. Do these characters know each other at the start? Because if they do, then you can do definitely a backstory that hits all of them. But yeah, most of the time it's they want to meet up, right? So usually I have like little pieces of it in the story, and then maybe sometimes you can use it to move the story forward. Definitely. I think like one of my players, she had the criminal background, which means you have a contact, and she gave me free reign on making that contact. So I made like her contact for that, and it was a recurring character that would come up in our campaign. And then another one would say like his character had like 3 brothers, so they would come up, and you know, like when the campaign can use it, and you definitely should try to find a way to link it in, because the players will really appreciate it. Like when they've worked so hard to make these like in-depth backstories, it's definitely like a very good feeling to see that their work comes out in the game. Yeah,
you can see it in their eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, like the excitement.
Yeah.
everything.
And when you describe something, and then they finally recognize that, hey, that's
Yeah,
Bagman
yeah.
story. Wait. Is that the guy with the? Oh shit! Yeah. And then you can see in their reaction.
Yeah.
And then yeah. For me, I guess it depends on the how long the campaign will be. So let's say if you're gonna hit around, you're gonna finish the campaign around the 14th or 15th level, then you have a wide range of time incorporating all those backstory. So for me, I get all of their backstory, and then try to see if where it will fit in during the campaign, and then if possible, the big bad boss,
yeah.
whether it's linked towards their backstory, they will be amazed and be thrilled knowing that, hey, my backstory is actually the reason for this one, and then you can get the reaction from the players, and it's priceless.
Yeah.
I mean, they appreciate it.
Yeah.
a lot. So we're talking about these players. Can you tell us about like your longest running campaign and your shortest?
Okay.
I mean, like there are stories, 15, 20, 30 years of still playing the same campaign. So how about you guys? How long and the shortest?
For me, the longest campaign was probably a little bit over a year, like where we were meeting quite often. But yeah, that's a lot of it was like also there were breaks between time. That campaign was Yawning Portal. Like we ran most of the Yawning Portal, and then we ended with Tomb of the Annihilation, and we ended there because it was like a good ending. Plus, one of our players moved out of the country, so that was the longest campaign that I had. It was fun. I enjoyed that campaign a lot. And then the shortest, probably like just a few sessions. We didn't quite finish.
Just
One shot
session.
game.
Yeah, a few one shots.
I mean, like there's stories like in one session, the party
Yeah.
TPKs.
Yeah.
So team party kill. Yeah.
Me, I guess running 5. I guess 5
5
years.
years?
Wow. Congratulations.
The number of years that we stayed in college, that's the same campaign that we have.
Awesome. Oh
Yeah.
my.
Yeah.
After college, we try to finish it. The thing is that after college, you have your own priorities
Yeah.
that you be doing. Applying for work and all. Some move to Cebu, some move to Manila, and we're not able to finish it. But the good thing about it is that we started out the second edition, and then we transitioned from 3 and then 3.5 during the stay of that almost 5 years.
Yeah.
And I think that's the longest campaign that I have, because I split the group, because what happened is that I started out with 2 players, and then one of my player have a friend, and then introduced the game,
Yeah.
and then he was playing, and then he had a lot of friends, and then it's all linked up, and then we ended up, I guess we're around 15.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
15 all the same
15.
time?
I was thinking on having them all. Right? I tried once, and wow, man, I guess one round is almost an hour. I guess, because what will you do? No problem. So it was chaos.
Yeah.
And what we did is that we play around the outside the faculty room in LaSalle, and what we called it the Likod Live, so, on the back of the library. We played there during the weekends, and it was a long table, and then I grabbed some small pebbles and I put it on my side here, because if the current scene is on this part, the other half will just talk, and then it will rain people. Hey! And then it was a complete chaos, but it was fun. It was fun though. And after that, I started splitting the two, and I said I'm gonna split the group right now because I can't handle all of you in just one session. So it was fun though, but
Yeah.
the chaos is there.
Yeah.
You cannot assess that towards one of your player that hey, focus on this and
Yeah.
in this. Just remember, you have 15 players or 16, and if you started from here, so if you're number 14 plus the enemy,
Yeah.
man.
You're gonna take a lunch break.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a pee break first, and then
So that answers my questions for like how big
Yeah.
did you handle a party? Well, it's very hard. Like yeah, I mean,
yeah, definitely.
how about like which do you guys prefer? Role playing or like non-role playing? Because
Combat based or more on combat or RP?
well, because some people or some players I know, they prefer combat, just combat
Yeah.
and everything. They do a little bit of like a role playing for
Yeah.
the story. It's fine with them, but let's just say they're more on combat. And there are players who like
Exploration.
role play.
And RP.
They
Yep.
wanted to role play everything. Everything from the way they talk.
Yeah.
In combat, they wanted to know, or they want to give you their.
The description and how they do it. Yep, I like that.
Yeah, me too. Actually.
Which you guys prefer? Like mostly on.
I
I mean, role players. Or,
I as a DM, I actually kind of veer more towards the roleplay side. I enjoy roleplay. Like even my villains in middle combat, they will trash talk you. You know, like I was playing a game and then three of my players' characters were girls and two of the players were actually girls and there was a third one who was like a guy playing a girl character. So like the three of them missed this one guy and I'm like, missed me because you're a girl, and they all hated it. But it was fun.
You hit like a girl.
Yeah. You really like being that I think like the whole game always has parts that you can role play in. So like even combat, it's a good place. Like if you want your characters to hate the villain, just trash talk them when they miss or do anything in combat. So yeah.
Me, I guess it's around 50-50, or it boils down to the type of players that you have on the table. Especially if you have players that are min-maxer, they mostly tend towards combat.
Yeah.
Because they already calculated the number of damage they will be incurring on this level, and also you get to know the part that they love combat. So for me, it depends on the players on the table. If they are hardcore RP people, then we could go with that.
Yeah.
Or if they are a min-maxer, then we can elaborate more on the combat. So as long as it's fun on the table, then I'll go with it. If they started to roleplay, then I'll go ahead and roleplay with them.
Yeah.
so what if like there's this player, so the big bad guy, he's doing his evil speech. In the middle of his speech, he casts a spell. So, how does it make you feel? Like, for a DM, like, oh, this is like my big speech. This speech of the evil guy. Like, you can. I mean, this is your time to express.
Yeah.
But this player casts like a spell in the middle of the speech.
All right.
What do you do? Like,
I
how do you like? How do you feel about it?
I'm cool with it. Like, if they want to do it, if this big bad's a wizard, he's like counterspell, and he's like, no, I guess we're gonna do combat. You know.
Me, it depends on what spell. Especially if it's a spell wherein you need to hit, and then I'll go. Okay, go ahead, roll. And if he hits a 1, then my speech will be much longer. There's trash talk in it.
Not bad.
Right? And if it's a natural 20 and it automatically kills the boss, then I said, it's a funny thing. It will go ahead and blow their heads out. Are you gonna say something? And then he dies. And then, for me, I'll just end up.
Yeah, and sometimes the players want to feel powerful. That's why you have heroes. So like, if they can knock out the bad guy in the midst of his speech, why not, right? Give that to them.
Yeah.
Just have another bad guy who will have another way around it.
Dude, I'm the brother.
I'm the evil twin brother who's even more evil.
Just listen for a minute.
Yeah.
And my speech is a bit shorter.
And I will do it through magic mouth.
Yeah.
Cast it multiple times.
So we have this. We can talk about the players, right? So how do you handle guys like players who metagame? Because I wanted like the newbies like to understand that they're doing is metagame. Because honestly, subconsciously, I metagame, and like in the previous episodes or actually it happened recently. I feel really guilty because like, oh shit, I could have ruined the DM's surprise or story because I know how to defeat this guy. I know the hit points, whatever. So how do you guys handle like a player or a party that metagames?
All right. Because I don't know. I started with homebrew. Up until now, it's homebrew. They are always surprised about the monster that I throw at them. I know that they are reading the monster's manual and all. So if I describe something, and they're gonna say, "Oh, it's a fucking troll. It has regeneration." So you're gonna say, "Okay, the troll falls. What will you do?" All right, I'm gonna try this oil, and then I'm gonna rub this body, and it just
Back massage it.
yeah, and then I'm gonna let it on fire and see what happens. And I said, "What were you doing that?" So it's metagaming. So this regeneration on towards the end. So what I did is I put a twist on it. They have the monsters are the same, but they don't know it. What they thought it's an earth elemental. So there's mud. So same description, the height and everything, and the damage is still the same, and it keeps on returning back. So it could be said that it could be the soil or the mud that they have in, and then later on they're all mangled up. They're able to find out that it was a troll actually dipped in mud.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So they get to say, "What the hell?" And then I also like to mutate monster because I know my players back then during the time the 3.5 is the open gaming wherein you're able to see the information in the internet, so they're able to see the stats and everything. I tried to mutate it, and they said, "Oh, by around 85 hit points, it will fall down. It's still 90 and still it's up."
Yeah.
And how come it has breath weapon? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and also for those who are fond of reading the monster's manual and all, I don't care much because I always change the monster on the fly.
The stats.
Yeah.
So do you change it completely, or do you make like additional stats for them? Like sometimes, because for me, like if there's like a skill of this monster, and then I think that this skill seems fit with the other monsters.
Yeah, definitely. If you are watching Matt Colville, he's giving tips on how to DM. You can go ahead and incorporate just even in the CR1 level monster. You can put a villain action.
Oh yeah.
Or just like a legendary action, but it's level 1.
Yeah.
So just to spice up the encounter and all, and so that they'll know that not everything that they see on the monster's manual will be the same during the combat. So they'll be always on heads up.
That's the goblin boss, right?
Yeah, the goblin boss.
Man, I love Matt Colville. But yeah, me like players like sometimes they don't, like you said, subconsciously they metagame, and I think that's okay. Usually, if if the player knows something about the monster, I say, well, if you know something, maybe you can roll to see if your character knows it. Nature check and Arcana check can definitely justify your character's behavior.
Sorry. That's the thing, because like we were like discussing like how much metagame can you like incorporate. So they said like it's okay to metagame a little bit, but for me, like I wanted to like teach the newbies like the proper way. So we know that the character sheets has ability checks, right? So it's for me like I tell them like just roll like Arcana, Nature, and all that, so that at least it's legal. Even though you hinted like a metagame, but I mean it's legal. The process. So
and for me, if they roll high enough, I'll even tell them more about the monster that they might not know.
Exactly. Especially in that 20.
Yeah.
So the encyclopedia just opens.
It's like, oh, here's the monster manual. You have a 30-second period. That was also for Matt Kobel, actually.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But But I think also to a certain extent, a metagaming can also come from the DM, because the DM knows what the players are capable of doing. So you have to watch yourself on that too.
Yeah.
So are you the type of DMs that likes to watch the party suffer?
I like to challenge them.
I
I like to challenge them.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, there are DMs that, let's just use the word, they want suffer. They want just make the party suffer. And then there's like DM that laid back. So there's always two sides of the story. So where are you? Like,
I also like to challenge them. I like to give them a hard encounter, but ultimately I want them to succeed, because I don't feel like I'm in a different team. Like, I want them to have like a good story. So there are times where they're losing and I'm just like, okay, I'll still attack you, because this enemy will attack you even while you're down, because that's how the nature of this character is.
Yep.
But yeah, you give them a challenge, but for me, I ultimately want them to succeed.
Yeah, me too. I like to challenge them, and but giving them a sense that if they create a bad move, it will cause the death of their characters on it. And I usually when playing the game, I usually don't roll behind the screen always. I roll it in front of them. So there's no lying there or saving your ass. If you get a 20, then you're dead, man.
I only use DM screen for tier 1. It's a safety measure for tier 1 games, but like tier 2 above, it's open rolling as well.
You're responsible for
Yeah,
your own
yeah,
death.
yeah.
I mean,
I only hide my my role if it's a role play.
Oh, yeah.
And then the reaction and all. I don't want them to see.
Oh, that's true.
Because if they see it failed, then they will prompt to
Yeah.
poke more onto that NPC.
so like I said, you only fudge your rolls.
I didn't say a fudge. DMs never admit.
I don't fudge because I'm rolling it in front of them.
I usually use a DM screen for lower tier games, particularly for like first level players, since they're a bit more fragile. Yeah.
Like, how do you handle players who are really emotionally attached? Like, because we can't deny there's death in.
Oh man, that's hard.
Yeah.
Like, have you experienced like a player like?
I have a player who cried.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I've seen that happen.
I mean, how do you handle like how do you handle this kind of players like to mourn?
Yeah.
Like, to give them time to.
It's a trade-off. So like, like I bet the reason why you make the encounters challenging is because you want them to feel like they accomplished. Because if everything is a cakewalk, there's no real feeling of threat, of danger, no adventure.
Yeah.
So you want to put the danger there.
And if they die, it's a glorious
Yeah,
death.
it's a good death usually. But yeah, sometimes people really do like hold their character to their heart, and like that death really matters to them. And
So it's worth it.
it's I wouldn't say like it's worth it in a way, but it's more of like you be sensitive about it. So like the other players will mourn for that character. Maybe you can put a scene where they actually talk about it and everything. I wasn't the DM for this, but I played the Tomb of Horrors, and that's a very deadly adventure. And that was like the first permanent death I've ever seen in a game. And it was one of my friend's character who permanently died, and he cried. And for like the group had to take a break for like 30 minutes. We couldn't play, and then we finished the tomb after that. And then we just like went to his town and we talked about him and met like people who had known him, and like that was how we moved on from that. But yeah,
Yes, it's the part wherein what will happen after the death, and how the party handles it, and how the DM handles the death.
yeah.
Sometimes honoring it by means of as what you've said, go to the town.
Yeah.
There's let's say an honorary that was given towards him, or even put up a statue.
Yeah.
That will immortalize the character onto it. And if ever you be playing again, let's say a different campaign, you can put that scene as a legend or a history on that area.
That's a good idea.
And then once you go back there, oh yeah, this is the guy. And then if that player is now playing a different character, you feel honored. And wow, yeah. So I think it's after that event, that how you handled it and how you immortalize it, that will bring back good memories. And oh yeah, man, it will create a flashback on their end as well.
So we talk about one player who really has this bond with his character. How about a player who doesn't give like a fuck about his character? It's like, okay,
Tell me when it's combat. It's just like that.
every session he creates like a new character because like he doesn't like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like
Okay.
I mean, there's this kind of player, right? Like everybody wants to do stealth, but he doesn't want to wait about the stealth, the roles. He just wants to do like a combat. Like he wants to action. He wants action every time. So how do you like tell him like, hey man, like doesn't care about his
Yeah, it depends. If the players are okay with his character doing that, then I would just like be like, okay, go. But cause I have a friend who's like he's not so attached to his character, so he doesn't mind them dying. So what the DMs usually do,
Leroy Jenkins.
yeah. Like this puts him in places where he could almost die, and then like we have fun keeping him alive. But if it's not like what the group wants, then definitely everyone in the table should talk to him before the game and be like, hey, we know this is how you enjoy the game, but could you play like this time, and then maybe we can make another campaign that's a one shot where he can just go Leroy Jenkins on everyone.
Yeah. I guess it all boils down to the players that he's with. So if the player or the other players on the table is not cool with it, then it could be that you could create a different campaign where he and one of his kind as well, like the hack and slashers do.
like the dungeon crawlers.
Yep, that's it. And then we just kick the door, kill the monster,
Yeah.
then loot, and then repeat.
Yeah, exactly. Just follow that checklist. But yeah, there's definitely there a lot of different groups play very differently. So like when you meet new people and you play D&D with them, they're gonna play very different from what you're used to, and that's part of the fun. But also that's part of why you like there's a table for everyone. So like where that guy may be really disruptive for one table, might fit really well in another.
That's
I agree.
what I tell my guys over there. sometimes like the party doesn't have to be overly perfect. I mean, each player is unique. Some has a perfect stats, perfect background, and others like just a shitty stat, shitty background. Whatever.
Oh, shitty stats is good for roleplay though.
It's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
The stakes are awesome.
So that's why, like, you can balance. It gives like colors to the. I mean, for me, it's like it's boring if your party's it's like planned out. I mean, oh, I'm gonna be the cleric. Oh, I'm gonna be like the ranger. No, can I be the ranger? No, I can't.
Yeah. You don't need one. We need the tank. We need the range. And, yeah, the typical group for survival.
I think like the tier ones there, the newbies, like they usually like are you gonna create a tank, and then okay, so we need like a wizard, sorcerer. Okay, how about the backline, the support, like that. So question is like, so we talk about like the player who is emotionally attached and the one who is chaotic and everything. So how do you handle players who are like prima donnas? Who wants attention all the time?
All the spotlight is always on them.
She's like, oh, I'm gonna check this. Wait, sorry. His teammate, gonna check for something, and then he found something, and then
Suddenly he's there.
Teleport.
I'm gonna check that also.
Alright. Yeah.
So, how do you guys handle like players who wants the spotlight, the attention? Like, have you experienced that kind of?
Yeah, but for me it depends on what the players do. So like everything is situational. So they sometimes they want to be the Bida of the story, you know. So they're just like, I'm always there at the front and everything. And then you let them roll skill checks, and sometimes they fail, and you know, that's one way to just show it, you know.
Like, also like, what if they always do the skill checks? Always.
I always tend to if at first if it's okay, and then if I see the other players are raising eyebrows on the stuff that's doing, so that's an indication that there are the other players is not cool with it. What I normally do is that if he likes to roll, and then I'm gonna do this, and then I'll just cut him off, and then says you're not there from that moment. Just wait for your turn, and it'll take their turn, right? And every time that he steals the spotlight, I don't know. I could drop a ton of anvil on his head. No, just
Things can happen.
yeah, you're everywhere.
Yeah.
So at first you just have to stop him, and then try to inform him that it's their turn.
Do you talk to them like outside of the game? Or?
It depends. It depends. If
Depends on their action.
No, it depends on the person. If it's a longtime friend of yours, then you can go ahead and taunt them up front. But if it's just a person who randomly goes on your table, then there's a different approach for that one.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just do that for one shot back in Manila. We have a bard there, and I have a friend who is a long time player back in not in high school, in college, and he's always on poking the gnome, and he used the how do you spell is that? Wherein you invoke words, and then you have a 1d4 damage. What is that again?
Vicious Mockery.
Vicious Mockery. Yeah.
There you go.
And yeah, he draw first blood on that one. So what happened is that during the sleep of the bard, my friend just looked at me. He said, "He's asleep, right?" "Yep." "Level 1?" I said, "Yes." "You gonna kill him? Go." And then the bard goes, yeah. Then my friend says, now this bard is always stealing my thunder. Let me see. And then I'm gonna do it. on the ground. So after that, the I think the bard knows what he's up to.
Yeah.
So after that, they and all of us there just meet up just that day. So he don't know the personality of the other.
Yeah,
And so I guess if that happens, then I think it's a matter of just after a short conversation will do, and just to light up the table and have fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like the focus is fun, and as a DM, you can also like ask them like, hey, I don't think your character would do this because you're not there, or you can choose who does the checks. Like only people in the front can do perception, stuff like that. So you can definitely talk your way.
My favorite
out.
line back in college is "Wala ka da." You're not there, man. So shut up.
So I'm gonna ask you guys now. So, what's the best part of playing D&D?
It's a lot. I love everything about it. Actually, like when I got into D&D, I forgot what video games were for a while, and then like it took up all my time. I like that it's a world that can be explored. When like you see a door, you can open it. It's not like you're not stuck to it being a video game door or
Just like a wall.
yeah. And then I like that you can play back with other people. I like seeing how other people excel and act. I like being in weird situations that you have to figure out your way out. Like the whole package is just really. I love D&D. Like yeah.
And just to add on that is the feeling that you're on the table with this different personality and sharing the moment.
Yeah.
That's priceless, man.
Yeah.
And also they're loving, and as a DM, and if they're enjoying what you present on the table, that's it. That's the ultimate prize that I got from the reactions and the fun it brings. And also the D&D is not a typical game wherein you only move to this and you have 3 options or 4 options.
Yeah.
Just like the video game or so, you have a lot of options there.
Yeah.
So the free flowing of the game itself and the role playing, that's the best part there.
It's like a really open world. You can do whatever you want.
Exactly.
Like, anything. So
One of the things I like as a DM is players telling me what they're gonna do, and I'm like, "You can do that? Okay, let's do it."
sometimes like there are players who are creative.
Yeah.
It's really. I mean, D&D is really special.
Yeah.
Because it's different. You can compare it to like. I mean, if you play sports,
Yeah.
if you have other hobbies. I guess there's D&D has always an edge to if you're gonna compare it to other like social experience.
I have a to share though. I guess that's one of the community back in I don't know if you're a member of that, the D&D community, wherein there is a student who a psychology major, I guess, conducted a research for D&D as part of a way to relieve stress and also what do you call this? The part wherein you commit suicide or what? Depression, yeah. That's the one. Yeah, so they conducted and they introduced D&D as one of those that can lower down the chances of having depression.
Actually, I've met a lot of people who've had like problems, but D&D's really helped them move forward.
Yeah, I mean, because D&D is about social
Exactly.
explorations and like on your first session, if you're a newbie, I know on the first few minutes you're gonna be like shy and everything, right? But then at the end of the session, like you win a friend.
Yeah.
You open up.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of the best things about D&D. It's like you feel like there's always like a friend.
Yeah.
And there's always someone you can talk, you can interact. It's always D&D is like a great escape.
Right. There are some who don't talk much, but during the game,
Yeah.
they talk much.
They light up.
Yep.
It's like a badass,
Yeah.
badass wizard.
I'm a cool dude.
Yeah.
And then after the game, just a weirdo.
Yeah.
Like, well, when I play D&D, also like, let's address that we can't deny that some people saw us playing outside publicly, whenever. And then we're there, playing with dice, papers and everything, and talking and laughing and like doing these different reactions. In my experience, I cannot deny that some people think of us or think of me like weirdo.
The crazy people.
Yeah, I mean like you're gonna say like impossible blow, mga wala. I mean, that's the usual. Like,
Yeah.
We carry around like pencils, dice, always papers, like these books.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we can't deny that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, like.
We get remembered for that one though. We have a group chat for in. It's a the class of 96. Okay, so I'm old. In high school, so we're in it provides us information for the alumni homecoming and all, and then after that we created a new chat room for our section, and then everyone keeps on introducing themselves back and hey, I'm this I'm already now married, this is now my last name, and then you get to remember, oh yeah, remember you're the chick on towards her. During the time though I introduced myself there are some who recognize me and some do not, and after I said yeah, we're the bunch of guys there who play D&D. Oh yeah, the weirdos. Yeah. And then they remembered. So I don't know, but yeah, it's fun there.
Yeah.
So I don't care much what they said. Yeah.
I feel bad because like those people like might be missing something that they might really enjoy. I mean, if you're gonna see something and just like knock it out without really understanding or seeing what benefit it could have, I'm sorry. That's kind of like I wish you could try it so that you could then be judgmental. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But you know, that's it.
Well, if like some of my friends, because like I went to this gym, like so I'm doing this like jiu-jitsu stuff, and then it's like my friends. I don't like shove like hey like I'm playing this game. I don't do that. Like, so I'm just gonna low key post something in Instagram or Facebook, and then they'll be the ones like, oh, you're playing this. I know some guys playing like way back.
Yeah.
But then moved into Manila like that. Yeah, like I mean, so it makes me like passionate about it. Oh yeah, man, I can talk to you about this. Maybe we can set up like a time. Maybe
One
I can
shot.
introduce.
Yeah.
I can introduce you like this, or if you're nervous, like we can have these guys like introduce you to. Yeah. I wanted like the people to know like about this because it's not just game. Actually, like it for me in my opinion like D&D tabletop also like it boosts your confidence. Like, it lets you open up easier, makes you talk to other people. Because like subconsciously and how they role play, it's like when they go out and you go outside, oh man, I can do this because like, I know how
No,
to-
definitely.
Yeah.
It's like it's scenario based, and if you're just role playing it, but by the end of the day, if you encountered that on the street and all, at least you have role played it out and see if it will work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Also like I said, like it's an escape. Like for us, like if you're working like 8 to 5, 8 hours a day, and then it makes you forget about
Yeah.
Yeah.
about your life for a little while. Just enjoy the moment, just hanging out with your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why like I'm passionate about the
Yeah.
this one like the community here. Actually, like it started like a few months ago.
Yeah.
I just saw it. Actually, I heard D&D way back. Like 10 years ago, 12
Yeah.
years ago.
But never given a chance to
Yeah,
play.
it's
or-
like way back. There's no Facebook. There's no group.
There's Friendster though.
Yeah. It doesn't like click into my life. When I was watching Stranger Things, so I saw this like D&D. Okay, so I was about to sleep. Let me try looking for a D&D group in Bicol. Then there's like the Dungeons and Dragons Bacolod. So, oh shit, there's like a group. And then like, well, it snowballed like from there meeting Bayan, Brand, you guys and everything. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's like a certain feeling that keeps me coming back.
Yeah.
And then like even when I'm just like staring in the sky in the window, I was thinking about like the possibilities of like playing a one shot, a campaign, a long running and everything. I wish like on how I feel or how you guys feel when you like the memories, the joy, that moment. I wish we could like share it to other people.
Yeah.
Because like they're missing like
A portion of their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
like, there's like what could have been.
Yeah.
If you tried.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just like it's such a good thing that we experience through it that it's definitely something that we want others to experience as well. Yeah.
I don't know, but my wife, I tried to,
Oh, yeah.
convince her. Yeah, we're gonna play one shot, and every time I have a chance to promote D&D, I promote it.
Yeah.
During back in my work, so during training, you get yourself a chance to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So I always incorporate it, and I said, "Hi, my name is blah blah blah," and all. I love to play D&D, and it's a role-playing game. If you've seen Stranger Things, Big Bang Theory, it's been there. And they tried to ask. Automatically, I turn on the DM screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you play it? Okay, this for example. Right, this and this, and then
Nice.
they began to wonder. And I have one co-trainees who is willing to try it, but it's a bit shy. So I'm working on it.
Yeah.
On when she'll be able to be introduced to the
Yeah.
group and to the hobby itself. So it's a good thing that there is someone who likes it. And even my cousin back in Manila, we used to play, and he saw us. And he was high school back then, but would like to play after college. And he saw this onto the TV and all. And then I remember my kuya is playing this one, and then eventually we form a group, and he's now playing, and he is missing the game right now because I'm here in Bacolod, he's back there in Manila, and I said, "Yep, swing by Bacolod and we'll play." And yeah, if ever I have a chance to promote, I always promote it,
Yeah.
and I always have a backup plan if ever they ask how does it work.
Yeah.
Then it's on, baby.
Nice.
like I don't know how about you guys, but like when I DM or like I prepare or like if I wanted to talk to someone like a newbie or just someone inquiring about the game, it's like yeah man, like so I'm passionate about it. I can talk for hours.
Yeah.
And I can talk about it. Like, hey man, can I buy you coffee? I don't want to say.
I got a close friend Manila. He won't play D&D, but like he's heard so much already. And I'm like, sorry man, that's all I want to talk about right now. It's your fault. You're my friend.
Stay with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, guys. So I think we covered a lot about dungeon mastering. I know. You guys wanted to talk about this a lot. This is just like the top of everything. This is not at the core of how you guys became like the DM right now. Because I know there's this significant events that makes you it makes you awesome right now.
It's a good thing. Awesome.
Below average.
No, I mean, like we said in the previous episode, always like respect your DM. I mean, you guys like spend your personal time preparing for this stuff, listening to the players, listening to us about our shitty reactions, complaints, our rants, or reactions, whatever violent shit. I mean, you guys are like the heroes. I mean, without the DMs, there will be no like campaign, no stories, no players. Yeah. To close this off, do you have any plugins?
What? No, I'm gonna start running AL games here in Bacolod.
Oh yeah, Adventures League.
Yeah, Adventures League, which is it's like the portable version of D&D. So you can play it, like you can play your character with multiple different DMs, and I'm gonna start that this Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, maybe we can like, because there's like some of the guys like wanted to ask about the Adventures League. So yeah, maybe we can like talk about that in depth more.
Yeah.
Because we're used to like, I think the rules in Adventures League is different. Or there are like
There's just some variations, but we generally use all the regular rules with a few of the variants, like variant human and a few others.
Yeah, and I think you need to log it.
Yeah, there's an online log sheet.
They're free to be official, so that on towards your next game, you have a reference of what already you've done. Yeah.
So yeah, guys, just watch out in the near future. We're gonna talk about like Adventures League, and how about you?
Me, you can always check me every noontime at showtime. Just joking. I don't have much because working and family and all, but we always play here every other Saturday with Diane and Bran on my homebrew campaign. And I don't know if we're gonna put one more character onto the gang. I don't know. It could be a future plan though. But yep, that's me.
Yep. So guys, stay tuned. Again, Miguel, MJ, they're one of the coolest DMs here. They're very friendly. You can approach them. Just don't stop. I mean, like, you can talk to them about D&D and
If
everything.
you have questions, then I'll
Everything.
just feel free to ask.
We're good here. Everyone's here is good. Nice. So if you're here in Bacolod, come by at Alonce or message Legends Drive at Bacolod. Alonce is here across Neko, Sigatrances. Yeah, maybe on the next episode we'll talk about the female peeps who play the game, because
Is it the male playing a female, or is the or a female dudettes that are playing D&D?
there's because mostly I think 80%
Or men? Yeah.
males. There's like a really small chance some females play. So yeah, maybe in the next episode we can talk about females, and we have like a guest that can share her experience about the game. And that is, guys. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.
All right.